Welcome back to another episode of the And Now I Know podcast. I'm your host, 32 Flavazz, and I'm here to inspire you to live life at your fullest potential. If you're looking for a podcast that's going to inspire you to chase your dreams, motivate you to get up each and every day, and help you navigate life just a little bit better, be sure to hit that subscribe button right now if you're watching on YouTube, and if you're listening on any streaming platform, don't forget to hit that follow button. Don't forget to hit that download button. And of course, I love to read the reviews, so don't forget to leave me some feedback. Now, today's episode, as you can tell by the title, we are going to be talking about forgiveness. Forgiveness. And to know me is to know I'm Mrs. Stand on business. So for me to be talking about forgiveness today, that's how you know God been working on me. And the reason why I'm talking about this today is because I feel like I've been in a season, or I've just been feeling like, God, what else do you want from me? What else do I need to do in order to get to the next level? Because I feel like I've been on the brink of something so big, so transformative. I just feel like I'm right at the edge of the cliff. Have you ever felt like that before? It's like God is doing his final touches on you before he just push you into that next level. And that's where I feel that I am at. And so lately, I just been praying like, God, what else do you want from me? What else do you want from me? And the main thing that has been coming up, or one of the things that has been coming up, is forgiveness. We got to give a moment of silence for the forgiveness, because to know me is to know, like I just said, it is kind of hard for me to let go of some things, especially when I feel like a person violated, or a person betrayed me, or a person crossed me, or a situation just didn't end in my favor. It's kind of hard for me to let that go. But I soon realized that the more that I hold on to, the heavier that I become. And I know you guys have heard the song Bag Lady by Erykah Badu. Bag Lady. Don't make me sing the song, okay? But Bag Lady by Erykah Badu is really the theme song to today's episode. Because honestly, I was using that as my background music to writing this episode, as if I was writing a rap or a song or something, because that song just hit so hard. When she says, I guess nobody ever told you that all you must hold on to is you, is you, is you, ooh, 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 okay? All you need to hold on to is you and what God calls you to hold on to. And so that is why forgiveness is such a big deal. That is why God wants us to forgive and let go and give it all to him. Because when you do not forgive, you harden your heart and you make yourself heavier. You do not want to be bag lady or bag man. And so I have been in this point in my life where I just been focusing on forgiveness, because this is an everyday process. But I know that I am not where I used to be. And for that, I can talk about this today. And I know that I'm not the only person that struggles with forgiveness, or who has struggled with forgiveness, because we all got a story that we cannot let go of. You know what I'm saying? If I ask anybody right now, like, what is something that hurt you, or tell me about a situation that hurt you, a person that hurt you that you just cannot let go of. And I'm pretty sure that person can tell me at least one. You know what I'm saying? I can give you multiple stories when I was hurt or betrayed and it was hard for me to let that thing or that person go. And so here I am today. I just want to help you guys. I hope you guys can take away so much from this episode. I hope you walk away from this episode feeling a little bit lighter, feeling seen, feeling heard. Because I want you to know that you are not the only one who struggles with said thing. And just because I'm on the internet talking about, peace, love, God, prosperity, and health and wellness, that don't mean I don't struggle with the same things that you struggle with. And so today, I want you to understand that by the end of this episode, it is a requirement for you to have a lighter heart in order to get to the next level. Now, I don't know if that's just my word, or maybe this is your word too if you're listening. But I know for me, my word is that it is a requirement for me to have a lighter heart in order to get to this next season in my life. And in order for me to get a lighter heart, I must forgive. So first things first, I want you to understand that forgiveness is not about them. Forgiveness is all about you. Forgiveness is all about you. Because why and what good is it doing For you to walk around with all this animosity in your heart and all this pain and all this bitterness in your heart. People can smell that on you. People can literally smell it on you. It is not hard to tell when somebody's energy is a little heavy. Like I always mention, I'm a lash tech and I'm literally laying over people's heads 5 days out of the week. And I can literally feel people's energy, and I'm sure that they can feel mine. And I don't even have to ask people, how has your day been? Or what do you have going on? Sometimes somebody can lay in my chair and I can just feel that something is on them. Now, I don't know if that's just a gift that God gave me, but I do know that energy is powerful. And with that being said, you do not want to be the heavy person in the room if you don't have to be. If all it takes for you to just do a little bit more forgiving, if all it takes for you to do a little bit more work and healing, you know what I'm saying? And so I just want to get you closer to that point today with this episode. And I also need you to understand that some of you guys are carrying resentment from years ago. You replaying old betrayals and old situations in your mind like your favorite song. Or you just waiting on an apology that may or may not ever come. And for what? Okay, some of the people who have hurt you, some of the people who have hurt us, I'm going to include me in everything. They're living their best life right now. And I'm not saying that you don't cross their mind. I'm not saying that they're not thinking about you or that person is not thinking about you. But 9 times out of 10, listen, life is life and for everybody. So you are the last thing that somebody is thinking about. And so you losing sleep, you moping around, you dragging your feet, you being the victim, and God is looking at you like, come on, girl, come on, man, lock in, give it to me, release it. And that is what I want to talk about today too, that just because you forgive somebody, that don't mean you completely, disregarding or dismissing how you feel. Sometimes you literally just need to forgive so that way you can release that bad energy. You can release all of that negativity up off of you, because it's literally radiating. When I walk into the room now, literally people always compliment me on being a light, And I'm not saying that I wasn't a light before I forgave people and before I let some things go, but I'm pretty sure, and I know for a fact based off just evidence of people telling me like, girl, your energy is so great. I just love being around you. I love the way that you pour into me, and I'm not able to radiate that unless I wasn't able to radiate that unless I let some things go. And so I just want you to live your best life. And I'm not saying I'm living the best life ever, but I'm definitely living a blessed life. And I know that you are making room for blessings and opportunities when you forgive. You are making room for blessings and opportunities when you let go. There's no point of you holding on to things that are not serving you. You literally are holding on to old baggage. You're clinging onto old baggage that does not serve you. Get out of your own way. Sometimes you just need to release that energy so that way you can go be great. Because in order to expand, in order to get to that next level, in order to get to that next chapter, you have to forgive. You got to make room. Just like, when obviously it's springtime right now, we got to clean out the closet in order to make room for the new, because new things, great things are coming in, and we just got to make room. And trust me, I know forgiveness is not easy. Some of the things that people have gone through, some of the things I have gone through are really painful, really hurtful. So I know you probably listening like 32. Don't tell me who to forgive and who not to forgive. Don't tell me to let that situation go when it made me feel like this. Let me tell you something. I will never discredit or dismiss how you feel, but I do want you to know that you are called to go higher. You are called to go so far in this earth. And in order to go to the highest of heights, you cannot be heavy. You gotta be light. This new season requires a lighter heart. So today we're going to be talking all about forgiveness, what it really means, and how we're going to let go of things that no longer serve us. So let's talk about how holding on to pain is keeping you from the life you deserve. Have you ever noticed how heavy your spirit feels when you're holding a grudge? How every time you think about that person or a situation, it shifts your whole mood. You could be having a good day and boom, one thought about that situation, one thought about that person will throw your whole vibe off. Now imagine what that could be doing to your energy and your peace of mind, to your ability to attract better. You can't pray for new blessings while clenching your fist around old baggage. God can't pour into a cup filled with resentment. You gotta make room. So ask yourself, what am I holding on to that is keeping me from my next level? What am I holding on to that I can really let go? What is something that happened that's really no longer a big deal, but you still kind of haven't let it go, so it's still somewhere tucked in your heart? You know what I'm saying? What is something, or think of a situation that when you talk about it, it gets you so hype. Those are the situations that have power over you. There's a saying, the people who are super emotional are easily manipulated. People who emotionally react to something like easy, they're easily manipulated. And I can't even lie. I have been, and I sometimes am still today, easily manipulated because don't get me too hot. Don't get me too upset. You know what I'm saying? And when I think about it and when I'm no longer feeling as emotional or the emotions or feelings are not as high, I think like, wow, that's not even that big of a deal. That's not even worth my energy. That's not even worth my peace of mind. And you can't step into your future while carrying the weight from your past. Unforgiveness affects everything. Unforgiveness bleeds into your relationships, into your mindsets, your opportunities. The longer you hold on to it, the longer you stay stuck. And I know what you're thinking, 32. I am not forgiving these people. They don't deserve my forgiveness, and I feel you. But I want to encourage you to consider forgiving people who may have hurt you. And like I said, forgiving doesn't mean that you completely act like it never happened. Forgiving doesn't mean that you be naive and you go back to a person that showed you who they were, or a group of friends who showed you who they were, or a workplace that revealed to you what it was about. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is release that energy so that way we can bring in positivity and you can radiate positivity, because what goes in is gonna come out. Okay? So the first thing I want to talk about is forgiving yourself. Forgiving yourself. I think forgiveness with self is one of the hardest things. One of the hardest things, especially if you're a person who struggles with guilt and shame. I think we all struggle with guilt and shame just a little bit. Well, I'm just going to speak for me right now. But I can say that I've gone through one of the biggest freaking rebrands. I'm not going to say that I was out here wilding out, but I can go back and look at old videos in my phone of me standing on couches, me kicking it, having a ball, having a time. And I don't take back any of those moments. But the woman that I am today, the woman that I worked hard for, that is not a good representation of me now. And so sometimes it can make me cringe looking back at old videos. Have you ever scrolled through your phone, your old photo album in your phone, to maybe a year ago or 2 years ago? You trying to find a video or a certain picture and you scroll across a cringy video of yourself. Well, that has been me several times. And it's, again, not that I'm just wilding, but I'm doing things that I wouldn't even do. I'm not even the girl that goes to the club anymore. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that I'm better than that, but that's just not where my headspace is at. So just looking at certain videos, it's like, girl, you ain't even have a clue. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying all of that to say that you can't hate the old you and love the new you at the same time. Every piece and part of you deserves love. The good times, the bad times, the person that made the mistakes, the lessons that person needed to learn. Literally, you need to love every piece and part of you, because your mistakes make you. The bad times make you. I'm telling you right now, if it wasn't for certain seasons of my life, I would not be sitting on this chair today, because that is my story. That is my testimony. That is what makes me relatable, because I'm pretty sure there's somebody that's watching me that can relate to my story and they can relate to yours too. And so you don't want to control, alt, delete all the bad things that you've done or said, or the things that you really are not too proud of, because that is just a representation of how good God is, period. And I don't care what you used to do, who you used to be, and what God transformed you to. That is your story. That is your testimony. And you need to own that. One thing I'll never do is discredit who I used to be. Period. I was watching this message of Sarah Jakes in I was gonna say the episode. The message was called to Conquer, and she was speaking on this as well. And essentially she was just saying, like, own your past mistakes, own who you were in the past, because there's somebody out there that is watching you and they feel connected and they feel seen and they feel heard because you are a representation of what they went through. And if you can overcome something and you show that it's possible, the person watching you, the people watching you, if you on the internet, TikTok, Instagram, the people on your platforms, they watching you and they believe that they can do it too if you can do it. You know what I'm saying? So continue to shine light on all parts of you, right? And I used to fall victim to this because it's like, dang, I'm on the internet talking about God. And you know, people in the Christian community, no shade, no tea, but the moment you label yourself as Christian, it's almost like you're crucified for any old thing that you used to do or anything that is not in alignment with God. And I get it. You know what I'm saying? I understand the thought behind it, but it's like, dang, you don't want to be on the internet. This is what I'm thinking to myself. I don't want to be on the internet talking about God and people think I'm a fraud. You know what I'm saying? Because they used to see me in the club or because they used to see me dating certain people. You get what I'm saying? And so I'm saying all of this to say, one, you're not the only one. If you are somebody that struggles with not really loving every piece of you, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Pre-therapy 32 and after therapy 32 are two different people. But I love pre-therapy 32 just as much as I love 32 today. Okay? So stop replaying your worst moments like they define you. Self-forgiveness is necessary for growth, and you cannot elevate while shaming yourself for who you used to be. And the main question you want to ask yourself is, if God can forgive us, if God can forgive you, why are you still punishing you for what you used to do? If God can let go, if God can treat it as if it hasn't happened or it didn't happen, why are you still holding on to it? That ain't nothing but the enemy trying to keep you distracted. That ain't nothing but the enemy trying to remind you like, oh, you ain't good enough. Oh, you can't use this story. Oh, your story too bad. Oh, that story ain't good enough. Look at what you used to do. That is literally nothing but the enemy. If you don't go out and pop it, one thing I'm going to do is pop it. One thing you going to do is hear me pop it. Because it's important, it's necessary. You got to be confident in every area of your life, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Yep, that's me. I did it, but look at me now. And that is it's just a representation of how good God is. You know, I don't want to say characters, the main people in the Bible, they had something going on with them. You know what I'm saying? God literally looks at you like a precious gem, right? And all you need to do is look at you the way that God look at you and start showing up in the world as that. Period. You did the best that you could with what you had. And once you realize that, I think that you can move forward with peace within yourself. Now, the next topic is for my people who believe that they need to hear a I'm sorry. They need to hear an apology before they can move forward with their healing. Stop waiting on an apology. Stop waiting on the apology or apologies, because closure is a scam. If you are waiting on an apology, if you are waiting on an I'm sorry before you move forward with your life, you are literally making yourself a puppet. Some people will never acknowledge how they hurt you. That's their burden to carry, not yours. Waiting on an apology keeps you emotionally tied to the person who hurt you. Let me say that again. Waiting on an apology keeps you emotionally tied to the person who hurt you. Closure is not a conversation. Closure is a decision. You don't need to talk about it to get over it, to get through it. Now, closure is nice, sure, But if that is not already happening up front, if you got to do too much work for it, you just need to follow what God is telling you and move forward with your life. As bad as it may hurt, you just need to be obedient. I know that don't feel good. Trust me, I've had to do it. Imagine having to forgive somebody before you even hear the apology. Imagine having to forgive somebody before you even know if they sorry or not. I've done that. And I want to share a story with y'all because this is specifically for relationships and situationships and things like that. Sometimes we get done wrong and sometimes we take it personal, but you got to understand that it don't have anything to do with you. It has everything to do with them. If somebody treats you a certain way, it is a representation and a reflection of how they feel about themselves, because hurt people and happy people spread love, period. When I'm happy, when I'm at my best, I'm spreading love. When I'm unhappy, the energy that I radiate may not be the best if I don't check myself. And a lot of people are not checking themselves. And so I want to share with you guys a story of me having to apologize before I even received the I'm sorry, because I had to do what was best for me in that moment. Now, I wasn't ready to talk about this, last year, but here I am today talking about it. I kind of hinted around to it on my very first episode. I was talking about how God was stripping all these things away from me. Well, I got cheated on, and it was the most horrible feeling. You feel so betrayed. You feel so let down. Mind y'all, this happened. This is last year. Okay. And I was let down. I was disappointed because I had already made plans for my life, plans that God didn't even confirm, sign, or seal. Okay. Clearly, God had other plans for me, right? And so, long story short, I caught my ex cheating on me. Went through the phone, did that whole thing. I'm highly do not recommend you going through a phone, but I'm just trying to, give you guys some context. Went through the phone. My heart was broken. And in that moment, I sat with myself and I'm like, self, what you gonna do? If you stay, you're going to tolerate some BS. If you stay, you literally cannot say anything else regarding cheating because you allowed it. You allowed it. And you teach people how to treat you, right? And so in that moment, I'm like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? You love this person. You thought that you was going to be with this person forever. But God had other plans for me. And I knew that with God taking me through all those different things, this was a sign that he was another thing that was supposed to go out of my life as well. And so in that moment, I sat with myself. I left the location we were at. I cried. Ooh, I cried because I'm like, God, you cannot be taking this thing away. Like, what else do you want from me? Have you ever felt like, God, what else do you want from me? What did Tyrese say in that one video where you're like, what else do you want from me? The Marshayla video. Okay, that was me, snotty nose crying. And I'm like, you know what, girl? You gonna dust yourself off and try again. We're not gonna let this ruin who we are inside. We're going to do the healing we need to do. We're going to lock in. We ain't going to talk to nobody. We're going to let this man go and we're going to move forward. So you know what I did? I returned back to said location. I showed up with the calmest energy. When I say I ain't never been this calm, because old 32 would have tore the whole house up. I'm just going to be honest. Whole house would have been on the floor. But I didn't want to leave that last impression, because I believe first impressions and last impressions are everything. And so I said, you know what? When I leave this place, I want to make sure that I do it with grace, because it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And I want to make sure I leave my mark on people the right way. Okay. And so I come back in to the location and I'm like, listen, I went through your phone. This is how I'm talking, y'all. I'm like, I went through your phone. I saw what I needed to see. Of course, the person was like, what I need to see, what I do, what you see, what you see. Don't y'all hate when somebody is acting like they don't know what you talking about and they know good and well they've been doing something that's shady? Well, that is what I was experiencing in the moment. And so I'm like, listen, I love you and I'm very disappointed in you. When I tell y'all God was on my side that day, I'm like, I love you and I'm very disappointed in you. But unfortunately, I can no longer do this. And I'm paraphrasing, but this is essentially what I was saying. I can no longer do this. I don't want to do this at all. And I wish the best for you. And I pray that you get the healing that you need, because understand that a person that is cheating on you, a person that is cheating, you are trying to fill a void. You need to look into that so that way you don't hurt the next thing. Okay, because I'm a woman that's strong. I can get through this, but the next woman might not be able to. You feel me? And so I feel like I just had a real conversation. It wasn't even a conversation because he wasn't really even talking back. You know, when you catch somebody in the act, they ain't got nothing to say. So I'm like, listen, I love you. I forgive you. I don't even want you thinking that I have any animosity. When I see you out, we can speak. You know, it ain't gonna be no kikiing now, but we can speak. You know what I'm saying? And it's all love. I wish you the best, but you ain't gonna be with me though. You know what I'm saying? And I'm mentioning these stories because I didn't get a I'm sorry in that moment. I did not get a I'm sorry in that moment. I got a what in a moment. But I made the decision in that moment to say, you know what? I forgive you, because I don't even want to block my blessings. Did it still hurt me? Yes. Did I still need to grieve that relationship? Yes. But I got through it and I'm better. And if you know, you know, I'm literally doing better. Okay. And so if you are anybody listening to this, if you listening to this right now and you have gone through a breakup, or you are ending a situation, whatever the case is, if you have to leave somebody that you really don't want to leave, do not wait on that apology if you haven't gotten it already. Do not wait on that apology. Move forward with your life, because I'm telling you, it gets greater later. You probably can't see it now, but God is protecting you from something. I know you've heard the phrase, God's rejection is your protection. That is real life, because God has something much greater in store for me. Maybe he needs you to focus on other things. Maybe you was pouring too much into that person or that relationship or that situation and not enough into God. You feel me? And forgetting about God. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes God is just stripping you of all the things. You know, sometimes you got to go through a stripping season. God got a clean house. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you pray that one prayer. Y'all know that prayer when you like, God, remove all the people that ain't for me, that are against me. Boy, got to do a whole Rico sweep in your life, okay? And so don't feel bad. And I know it's hard. It's easier said than done. But trust me, y'all, I done had my heart broken too. I done had the worst things done to me too. You are not the only one. And I hope that you can feel my sincerity through whatever system you listening to me through. But just know that you're going to get through it. But just do not wait on that apology. And lastly, I want to talk about how we can love people, but from a distance, because that is another piece of forgiveness. Sometimes we feel like, you know, we gotta leave people with hate, or we gotta leave people with a bitter heart. That is not helping your case. And this really kind of goes hand in hand with family, because you can't choose your people, right? But you can choose the amount of access that you give to people, because toxic is toxic. Even if it's family, you do not have to cut people off in hate. You can create distance in love. Sometimes you just need to give people a chance to get their mind right. Sometimes people need to bump their head and learn the lesson on their own. Sometimes you need to let God do the work that he needs to do within said person or people, right? And they'll eventually come along. But the one thing we got to do is work on that forgiveness and continue to pray for these people. Pray for said person. One thing I've been trying to practice doing is praying for my enemies. I can't say that I have enemies, but I pray for my exes. I pray for the people who are no longer in my life that once were, because I don't wish ill on nobody. I want what God has for me, and I put that on everything I love. I literally want what God has for me so bad that I'm willing to pray for people who are no longer in my life, that don't even serve me, because it's bigger than me. And once you understand that, it's easier for you to let things go. And the thing is, when it comes to loving people but from a distance, it's just you creating boundaries. And oftentimes we don't be having these boundaries set with people, with friends, family. When it comes to the people we love, we just let anything fly. And that really doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? And so one thing I want you to ask yourself when you're trying to figure out if you should love a person from a distance or not, you need to ask yourself, is this connection bringing me peace or is it draining me? If the connection is bringing you peace, then it's something worth fighting for. It's something worth working through. But if a person is draining you, maybe consider letting it go. Now, I'm not saying drop it as soon as something bad shows up or as soon as, first sign of confrontation. But you just got to pray about these things. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know what role you're supposed to play in a person's life. You know what I'm saying? And also keep in mind that the enemy loves division. The enemy loves division. The enemy want to see you separate from people that you're supposed to be loving on. Because one thing about it, what Jay-Z said in that song, nobody wins when the family feuds. Literally, nobody wins when the family feuds. Period. I know I just said what he said, but I just had to put extra emphasis on it because when the family is in shambles, nobody wins. But when the family comes together, when the right people come together, I can't even just say family. When the right people come together, you are literally creating a powerhouse and the enemy knows that. So you got to watch out for signs of that. You know what I'm saying? And you also got to let your people know like, hey, we are bigger than the problem. It's us against the argument. You know what I'm saying? It's us against the problem, not the problem against us. You know what I'm saying? And I think that can help you shift your perspective when it comes to forgiving people and letting go and giving people grace. Because you got to let people come around if they want to come around. And if they don't. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Mel Robbins, but Mel Robbins is a self-development. She's a podcaster. She has a podcast called the Mel Robbins Podcast. She's also an author. Excellent woman. I listen to her all the time. And she just released a book called Let Them. And essentially, I don't have the book. My mom has the book and she talks to me about it all the time. But I have watched several podcast episodes of her breaking down the book and her talking to other people about the book and this theory that she came up with called the Let Them theory. And you literally just need to let them. Let people do what they want to do. Quit trying to control people. Quit trying to have your way and your say over people's lives. Let people do what they want to do. People gonna show you how they feel about you. You don't have to say anything. You know what I'm saying? And you got to also ask yourself, is my forgiveness, you also got to ask yourself, is my unforgiveness hurting me more than it's hurting them? Because if your unforgiveness got you bitter, got you uptight, got you walking around with a mug, who is it really helping? It's not helping you, and it's definitely not helping them. You know what I'm saying? And so I just want you to consider all of these things. I know this episode was quite short and to the point, but bottom line is we are trying to grow and expand. We are trying to get the things that God has our name on. And it's hard to do that when your heart is too heavy. It's hard to do that when you got so much on your mind that don't even need to be there. Like I said, go listen to Erykah Badu's Bag Lady. She talking all about it. All you must hold on to is you. You don't need to hold on to anything else. Work on you. Focus on you. And I'm telling you, what you become is what you attract. You become Miss Positive or Mr. Positive. You become the person that's filled with love. I'm telling you, you're going to attract love. You may attract a couple other things, but essentially bad things and bad people, they don't even want no parts because they know, oh, this person requires this of me. This person requires me to show up like this. Oh, I can't come around her and I act like that. You know what I'm saying? You literally teach people how to treat you, how you show up in the world. One of my episodes I talked about, what did I say? I said something along the lines of like, people see how you treat you and that determines how they treat you. Not with everybody, but a lot of people, it's like, oh, well, she don't care about herself, so why should I care about her? My St. Louis accent about to come out. She ain't worried about herself, so why would I care about her? Care about her. You know what I'm saying? So listen, you guys, we got places to go, people to see. God has our name on so many different things. And I don't know about you, but I'm ready to go to the next level. Whenever God say, I'm doing it. And I don't know who need to hear this today, and maybe this is for me. Here I'm about to get in my Instagram bag. I don't know who need to hear this today, but get ready. Get ready, because the places that God is about to take you is literally about to blow your mind. If you feel like you've been in a season of tests and trials, and you feel like you've been going through something back to back, going through stuff back to back to back to back to back, just know that it is all preparation. This is your preparation season. God is literally molding you and shaping you. This new bag you about to walk into, this new opportunity that's coming your way, you gonna be able to handle it the right way. I can be honest and say that God has given me things over the past couple years and I mishandled them. I mishandled my platform in some way, not heavily, right? Because I know y'all see me show up every day, but I haven't been as consistent as I could be. You know what I'm saying? And I know that I am determined to show God that I want what he has by utilizing all of the resources. You know what I'm saying? So if it's anything that God has been telling you to work on, if it's anything that that you need to work on and fix, maybe forgiveness, okay, do that. Do that, because what I'm about to walk into is so big, and I feel that in my bones. I feel that in my spirit. I don't know who I'm talking to. And yeah, that is all for today's episode. I hope you took something away. Comment down below if you're watching on YouTube, and don't forget to leave me a review. And as y'all know, at the end of each episode, I always wrap up with the "And Now I Know" segment. And now I know that when you forgive, you feel lighter. And now I know when you forgive, you make room for more. You make room for greater. You make room for better. When you let go, when you release, it's all about the release. You can let great things flow into your mind, into your body. You cannot be as creative when you got so much baggage inside. You cannot be as productive when you got too much baggage inside. You cannot make room for new friendships if you still holding on to baggage from old friendships. You got to make room. And too oftentimes we be so prideful and we like, no, I ain't letting go. And God is like, if you only knew what would happen if you let go, if you open your arms, I can insert new things. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you guys, thank you for tuning in to this episode of the And Now I Know podcast. If you want to see more of me, hear more of me, be sure to follow me on TikTok at 32 Flavors. I have been super consistent on that thing. You know what I'm saying? If you want to hear more motivational speeches and talks and things, follow me on my Instagram at 32 Flavors. Most of you guys come from my social media anyway. But yeah, like I said, I'm so grateful for y'all. Thank you for, sticking by my side. I know I have not been as consistent, but I'm back and I'm better. Yeah, you guys, I love you. Thank you so much for supporting me. Thank you so much for staying down. And yeah, talk to you guys later. Bye. Mwah.